Today we're checking out this Supreme steering tie rod end for the front driver's side outer of the 2009 and newer F-150s, but excluding the Raptor. If your steering has started to feel loose, you're noticing uneven tire wear, or you're hearing clunks over bumps, this is a straightforward replacement that can tighten everything back up and restore some confident feel, so it's definitely worth checking out. This outer tie rod end is a key part of your steering system, and when it wears out, you can feel it immediately. This replacement is designed to restore proper steering response and help bring back that stable, predictable feel on the road. This is a great move if you've got higher miles, or you'd like to run larger tires, or maybe you've been chasing a small shimmy or some wandering sensations at highway speeds. Day to day, this kind of upgrade really helps your truck feel safer, smoother, and more dialed in. When it comes to the construction on this, you're getting a heavy-duty style replacement built to match the factory geometry and fitment. The joint is designed for smooth movement under load, and the threads are cut clean for proper alignment adjustment, and the overall build is built to handle the normal abuse of daily driving, heavy-duty work use, and the occasional rough off-road conditions. As far as pricing goes on this, it's coming in right around that $100 price range. That's a pretty solid value for a steering component that directly affects how your truck tracks, turns, and wears tires. This is one of those small parts that can make a big difference in how new your F-150 feels without spending big money. When it comes to the install on this one, it's going to get rated just a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and you can have this job done in 3 hours of your time or less. Now let's see exactly how this install goes with a quick video from one of our American Trucks customers.
Tools you'll need for this install are an 8, 10, 21, and 24 millimeter wrench, a torque wrench, a 21 millimeter socket, a hammer or dead blow, and you may need vice grips and a crescent wrench. All right, so to replace your tie rod end, first you're going to break loose the locking nut up here, and then we're going to come down to the bottom retaining nut and remove that and separate the tie rod end from the knuckle. So break loose your locking nut, you take your 24 millimeter wrench, you place a crescent wrench on the tie rod end itself to help hold it in place. Once you break it loose, back it off a couple turns, get a gap in there, and we're going to come down to our retaining nut with a 21 millimeter ratcheting wrench. As you're loosening or removing this locking retaining nut, you might notice that your stud is twisting. If so, you can use a 10 millimeter socket or wrench to hold that in place. Once your nut's removed, you can use a hammer or a dead blow and tap on the knuckle and on the stud to separate your tie rod end from the knuckle. Once you have your retaining nut removed, tap with a hammer on the knuckle to separate the ball joint. This broke loose. So you lift the tie rod end up, and now you're going to remove, count the number of turns as you remove the tie rod end. So when you install the new one, you know you can get it back to factory settings. If you have trouble getting your spinning your tie rod end off, you can use a pair of locking pliers on the shaft of your tie rod. But this one's already loose, so we shouldn't have any issues. We're going to count the number of turns. There's 1, 2, 3, 22. So we're going to remember that number when we go to install our new tie rod end. Okay, we're also going to remove this locking nut and replace it with a new one that comes with the kit. Before we install the new tie rod end, you're going to install the grease fitting, thread it into the top, and then tighten it down with a 8 millimeter wrench. Now you're going to thread on your locking nut to the tie rod, thread it on all the way up, make sure it's out of the way as we install the new tie rod end. Take your new tie rod end, count the number of turns that as you thread it on, get it back to factory settings. So once you get threaded on, there's 1, 2, 20, 21, 22. Back your locking nut down. Guide your ball joint into the knuckle. Tighten it down with a 21 millimeter. And again, if your stud starts to turn on you, you can hold it in place with a 10 millimeter wrench on the bottom. All right, now you're gonna take your 22 millimeter socket and torque wrench, and you're gonna torque the retaining nut to 76 foot-pounds. That's torqued down. The last step, take your 24 millimeter wrench and lock your locking nut in place. And there you have it. You installed your new tie rod end.
All right, that's gonna wrap it up for my review and install of the Supreme Steering Tie Rod End front driver side outer for the 2009 to 2025 F-150s, excluding the Raptor. And for all things F-150, keep it right here at American Trucks.